Dean Strom here in the announcer's booth. Those you're listening live on the Mazda Road to Indy app, we're thrilled that you're with us. Second USF 2000 race of the day, and ladies and gentlemen, here they come up to the top of the hill. Anthony Martin on the inside, Victor Franzoni on the inside, right in the shadow of a fantastic F2000 race. Lights race. We are going F2000 racing. Looks to me like we're going to be 3 wide as we work our way into turn number 1. We had Nick Singer give us the green flag there at start finish, and here they come through turn number 1. Midway through the season now, these drivers starting to get more comfortable with each other, able to get through 1 thus far. Down here into turn number 3, a little kink 2 down to 3 here. Drivers still looking pretty good. 2x2 on the exit of that corner. That's a tough corner coming out there, Dean.
That is a tough corner. It is one of the most important corners on the course. You need to carry the momentum through 3 so you can get a good run down the straightaway there, head into 5, and everybody makes it through 3 and up the back straightaway cleanly.
Turn 5 has been a tough one for these drivers. We have seen a number of drivers get together. Let's see a couple of them right out over the gator bump. So that's a very, very rough segment of the racetrack. It really shakes these light USF 2000 cars up. They'll crest the hill under the Corvette Bridge at turn number 6. Run out onto the rumbles again. Now this big downhill run. It feels like a full corner coming down through turn number 7 every time I've driven it, but really it is more just of a kind of a bend working your way down to turn number 8.
Yeah, they'll keep it wide open through 7 and into 8. Of course, 8 there right now, a hard left-hander, and that sets it up for the carousel.
Yeah, a number of drivers, folks, looking to try to get to the inside of turn 8. It's a downhill left-hander, and it really is a 90-degree left-hander that flattens out and leads to the downhill carousel. Drivers just poking their nose to the inside of turn 8 trying to make the move. They'll work their way now under the bridge in the back part of the racetrack, out of the carousel through the very quick kink corner, and then into the kettle bottoms, which snake their way over, lined by trees on both sides, and they'll snake their way over all the way down to Canada Corner, which is that uphill right-hander, the increasing radius corner, actually decreasing radius corner rather, as it kind of cuts back a little bit. Anthony Martin looks like he has the initial lead here as we continue to watch drivers settle themselves into the battle further back. We'll give you a top 10, in fact a 15-car rundown when they come back around here to begin to complete lap number 1. Good, solid start there for Anthony Martin, as I believe he's gotten to the lead. Victor Franzoni now runs second in the number 9. Jordan Lloyd in the 21 runs in third. Parker Thompson goes up to 4th position. Garth Ricard's in 5th. Actually, it's Isla Agren, the young lady out of Norway. Las Vegas, Nevada resident now, number 33 for John Comiskey Racing. She's worked her way into the 5th position. 6th is Garth Ricard's in the Pabst Racing number 22. Jordan Kane, who was involved in that incident late in the first race, now into 7th position in the Cape Motorsports number 4. Yufeng Luo in the 23. He was out early after contact with his teammate Garth Ricard's. Those drivers finishing 23rd and 24th in the opening race. Luo in 8th position. Nikita Listoshkin runs in 9th. Luke Gabin 10th. From 12th to 10th already for Gabin. Robert McGinnis up into 11th. Lucas Cole in 12th. Dakota Dickerson up to 13th position. Cameron Doss in 14th, and Max Hanratty rounds out your top 15. So the opening laps in the books, Dean, and they're now working lap number 2. You can see they've all spread out into that essentially single-car train. Now you can go to work on the driver in front of you.
And Martin has opened up a healthy advantage after lap 1. It was a 2.5 seconds. So our winner from race number 1 back at it here in USF 2000 race number 2.
You know, there's contact there coming into turn number 8. 2 drivers together trying to figure out which drivers those might have been. I think that might have been Luo and Listoshkin, the black number 23 of Luo and the number 3 of Listoshkin, the white car. Man, they got all kinds of sideways on the entry into turn number 8. Let's have a look at that again. Here's the replay coming in here. Look at, they're all on top of each other. That's Luo up front, just a little deep into the corner for Nikita Listoshkin, and I'm going to give him props, Dean. The car was kind of starting to work its way counterclockwise sideways. He was able to keep the drift and get out of the corner.
Well, it looked like he really got on the binders there to keep it off of the car in front of him. And when he did that, it crossed up, and he did a whale of a job to save it.
That's what we have to worry about. Did he flat spot the tires?
Right.
That's obviously early in the race to be able to lock it up like that going in. Nonetheless, a pretty solid show of racecraft for Listoshkin as he was able to keep that thing righted. It could easily have gone around on him, but luckily able to keep that drift going and essentially get the car rotated to get through turn number 8. That had us all here in the announcer's booth jumping up and down. We thought that was going to be a big incident there in turn number 8, but they were able to emerge from that corner unscathed.
2:13.72, a new fast lap
Yeah, not
for
bad.
our leader Martin, and now opens up nearly a 2-second advantage after just 2 circuits.
You know, sometimes when we talk about this USF 2000 program, I feel like I'm overusing the words confidence and momentum because these young drivers, that's what they get. They just, as they start getting winning races, they just feel like they can win any time. And so many times we'll see a driver win his first race, and then he goes on a streak.
Right.
He'll win a bunch of them.
Right.
Maybe not all in a row, but he'll start winning races. And Anthony Martin did not win last year. He was many times on the podium. He was our Rookie of the Year, running for John Comiskey Racing last year. He's matured. He's another year having all that experience and all that data into his mind and his racecraft. And once he got that first victory at the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, you could feel like a weight was lifted off his shoulders. And, of course, he won at Lucas Oil Raceway. He wins earlier today. He actually, with the victory today, I believe, shrunk the points down to just 10 points behind Parker Thompson. So there's a possibility right now with the victory here, depending on where Thompson finishes, we may be very close to being tied for points now.
Thompson currently shown in the 4th position in that car number 2.
Yeah, not far ahead of Isla Agron either. He's only 7/10 of a second ahead of Isla and just a half a second back to Garth Ricard's in the 22. So he's got a little bit of a gap. You can see there he is coming right now through the kink. Looking to try to find some good battles on the racetrack. But I'll tell you, Anthony Martin, he's just got things going right now. The Australian driver out front comfortably. 1.9 seconds was the advantage last time by. And Cape Motorsports with Wayne Taylor Racing getting back on a run now. They swept the weekend at Barber Motorsports Park with Parker Thompson. They swept the weekend at the Grand Prix of Indianapolis with both Parker and Anthony. Anthony won, of course, at Lucas Oil Raceway on the oval. Now potentially going 2 for 2 here with Anthony Martin. Cape Motorsports has got it going, but not surprising. They've been around for 25 years in 2-liter racing. They are the powerhouse team in this operation.
And you talk about the championship points and the fact that they are closing up after race number 1. That championship is so crucial because with the Mazda Road to Indy, you win the championship, you get the scholarship to move up to the next rung.
It's hard to fathom for some of these drivers that they wouldn't be able to go anywhere else if they didn't get the scholarship. That's how important it is to some of these kids. They're doing whatever they can to try to find the funding, the backing, the corporate partnerships. They're learning to put that together while at the same time working on social media and trying to make sure that they're relevant within the community and getting themselves out there and making themselves very public and very accessible to other racers. But the bottom line is they got to have the funding to go racing. And if you win this championship and you get that scholarship from Mazda to be able to run the next year in Pro Mazda, it's just so big. And I always say there's a couple things involved in that too, Dean. Number one, not only do you get the money to run that year, but you get a full year to find the money to run the second year, because that's one of the biggest things. You get that essentially a free pass to 2018 now to find the money for the next year. And maybe even more importantly, you get that association with Mazda. To be connected with Mazda, we've seen so many drivers run with Mazda as a scholarship driver, and then be able to work into their program, whether it's staying at Open Wheel or moving into one of their sports car programs. We've seen so many drivers be able to get a career with Mazda because it's such a family there. So now, watching the time here as we still have a long way to go, not even quite yet to the third mark. Martin leading by over 2 seconds last time by. He did a 2:13.1, as did Jordan Lloyd. Those two drivers stretching away. Lloyd able to get by Victor Franzoni. Remember Franzoni in the Arms Up Motorsports number 9. 3 times a winner in USF 2000 over the last couple of years. And he loses that spot. He was second. He has dropped to third as Jordan Lloyd, now turning the same lap times as the leader, but 2 seconds back at this point. Jordan Lloyd won at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg to kick off the season, has not been victorious since. As I said, it's been a sweep by Cape Motorsports with Wayne Taylor Racing, but just as the victory for Aaron Tieglitz and Pro Mazda is big for the hometown crew, I think it'd probably be the same for Pabst Racing. They are a Wisconsin native, and more even important, they're a Road America native. They have been around. That family, the Pabst Racing family, has been around here forever. And they would love to score a victory here in USF 2000. I know Augie would like to see one of his drivers at the top of the podium. In fact, Jordan Lloyd just reset fast lap. A 2:12.877, 0.3 of a second quicker than Martin, and he slashes into the lead, 1.8.
And Jordan Lloyd is our second-place runner, so he's trying to run down Martin. Again, just to repeat ourselves, Martin was the winner of our race this morning. And Rob, much different track conditions, different temperature, different sun, and certainly a different track here in the afternoon race, the second of our two USF 2000 races.
Yeah, but same result up front, right? Doesn't matter what the weather is, what the time is right now for these Cape Motorsports guys, especially Anthony Martin. He's still getting the job done. But, again, as you said, Dean, we have to watch out for this gap between first and second because Lloyd looks like he's got a pretty good race car now. Franzoni not far back either. He turned at 112.9. Franzoni was 0.2 of a second quicker than the leader as well. So we may find ourselves with a battle for the entire podium, not just first. Could be first, second, and third that gets jostled around. Another driver to watch, Dean, Luke Gabin in the number 91 for J Motorsports. Luke started back in the 11th position. He has slowly chipped his way now up into 8th spot, 1.3 seconds now behind Jordan Kane, so open racetrack. Luke's going to put in a pretty good lap here now, a couple good laps if he wants to roll in, but again, lots of time to go. We just got past the 1/3 mark, so still over 19 minutes remaining here in this race for USF 2000.
And these drivers can get themselves sorted out. You mentioned earlier, after about a lap or so, they got into single file formation. Things kind of settle down. Some of these young drivers settle down and can kind of get into race mode and race pace and set their pace and hit their marks and just reel in the guy in front of them gradually, keep it clean for the first lap or so, and then go racing. And that's what we're seeing now.
Well, you can kind of break any kind of race into those two segments, right? You get that first all-out blast to try to find spots. You know, they always say that you can't win the race in the opening corner, but you sure can lose it. But the problem is you can also gain a ton of spots if you make the right move.
It's really tempting, isn't it?
This is it. Yes, you can lose the race, but if you're starting deeper in the field, you'll see a lot of guys will maybe block to the inside to hold that line. This racetrack really opens up the outside line in turn one. So you use that opening couple of laps, maybe opening lap or two, to be able to get forward. Then you settle into essentially what it would be the meat of the race, and that's where you find out where you are, wherever you settle into the order, and then you go chipping away. You find out who's in front of you. You start studying that driver. Where am I quicker? Where can I make a pass? Okay, I'm faster in turn 5. That means I got to get a really good run through 1 and 3 to get there. That's when you start that more calculated race with some strategy. It's a little more, I think, WWE kind of MMA battling at the very start. You just drop the gloves, get the elbows up, and see where you end up when you come out of turn number 1.
Jordan Lloyd, who ran second in our morning race for the USF 2000. He and leader Martin ran nearly identical laps that time by 2:12.93 and a 2:12.98. So nearly identical laps for our first and second place runners.
Yeah, the opening race was obviously brought to you by Foster's Beer. All Australian drivers on the podium, and I guarantee you pretty pumped up the crew back in Australia because they love their racers. I guarantee you that. They get super excited about following these guys. They listen live on the Mazda Road to Indy app. In fact, a big crew from Australia came up to the Grand Prix of Indianapolis to cheer on Anthony Martin. They were a exciting, enjoyable, and boisterous bunch.
So if it was 8 o'clock here when they were racing this morning, what time was it in Australia?
I was going to say, if you can do it, I can't. I have no idea. It's got to be, I don't know. I can tell you one, doesn't matter how late it is, they're going to have a beer when he wins, that's for sure. It doesn't matter. They will celebrate accordingly. Driver getting super loose coming through turn number 11, I believe it is, or 12 at the end of the back straightaway there, the Canada corner. Somebody getting big time loose. One of the Pelfrey cars, I guess the only Pelfrey car, yellow car, would have been Robert McGinnis now. He got right sideways, running in the 11th position. We're going to see if that's going to hurt him a little bit. Looking at the lap times there, Dean, check that out. Jordan Lloyd, quicker again, 2:12.424. He went over 0.3 quicker, 1.3 seconds back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a race on our hands right now. Jordan Lloyd is coming. He's only back by 1.3 seconds, and we're not even to the halfway point yet.
Nope. We have 16 minutes to go in this timed event. 30 minutes is the time here for this race, and again, with 16 minutes to go, it's we have a race on our hands. As Rob said, the second place driver, the number 21 Lloyd machine, is reeling in the leader.
Couple fights on the racetrack. I think we'll look at the battle for 11th and 12th. Robert McGinnis, the rookie, in the number 80, and the rookie Dakota Dickerson in the number 18. McGinnis for Team Pelfrey, Dickerson for Afterburner Autosport. They're running for 11th position right now. Dickerson right on the rear wing of McGinnis, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that battle continue and potentially have Dickerson get by. He was quicker by a full second than McGinnis. Remember, we said McGinnis had that trouble coming out of Canada corner. That allowed Dickerson to put the Mazda Speed Soul Red number 18 right up under the rear wing. So would not be surprised to see Dickerson make a move for the 11th position.
He has just been behind the 8 ball all weekend long.
It's been
Mechanical
tough.
problems in practice, and that just set the whole program behind. Had to start at 24th. If you weren't here for the morning race, he started dead last and worked his way up, finished 12th. But that problem that he had, Dickerson we speak of, the number 18 machine, that problem that he had in practice and qualifying just really set the whole program back.
It just didn't seem like he could buy a break. Out of the box on Thursday, he was really good in the opening warm-up, had the issue with the engine in the second race, worked his way, of course, into qualifying, and is ready to see if he can't put a new engine in it. Like, hey, let's get at it. And he broke a half shaft. They had a little bit of oil, a little grease on the header. That was making some smoke, but that's normal with any engine rebuild. There's that paddle right there. Wow, we just got a quick look on the big screen. I know those of you listening live on the app, I can't hear it, but those of you with the video will be able to see that. That was the shot of Dickerson trying on the outside of Canada corner. Here they are coming out at the last corner. Camera's not sticking with that particular battle, but coming out of the final corner, Dickerson just throwing everything now at McGuinness. Dickerson, where he was in the opening race, finished 12th. Going to try to do it again. Now he tucks up under the wing. Here comes Dickerson now. Let's see if he's going to make the move. Dickerson's going to try to pull out coming into one. No, he's going to go left. He's going to go right because McGuinness blocking to the bottom. Dickerson to the outside. No. Don't think he was able to make it stick, but they'll try them coming under the Briggs and Stratton Bridge down the hill. Dickerson to the inside this time. The outside is the Team Pelfrey driver, McGuinness. We're just trying to get clips for you folks as they show us the screen. They're not sticking with that particular battle. We're just trying to grab it as they pop into the screen for us. That great fight for 11th and 12th. Robert McGuinness in the yellow number 8 and Dakota Dickerson in the soul red number 18. The best battle on the racetrack right now.
Best battle on the racetrack indeed. And as we look at that, as we focus on that battle for 11th, the battle for the lead is going to be shaping up here real soon. The advantage now is down to 1 second.
You know, you put your eyes away one time,
right,
and you miss it. Don't avert your eyes from the lead right now. Dickerson's actually fallen back a couple of lengths as he continues to battle Cameron Dawson, the number 92, the black 92, pushing up on him as well. Just a half a second back right now. Listening into some of the team radios, I don't think Dickerson really pleased with the defensive driving. What we're seeing right now at McGuinness, we heard a lot of that, of course, at the end of the Indy Lights race as well. And these drivers all fighting for their career lives out here. 1 second, though, as Dean pointed out, between first and second is Jordan Lloyd. I'd say chips away, but it's like 0.4 of a second a lap now as he's really starting to close up. Good racing all the way through. We've got battles between Isla Agron, Garth Ricards, and Jordan Kane. That's for 5th position. A good fight for 9th is Yufeng Luo trying to find a way back by Nikita Listoshkin. Of course, the fight between Dickerson, Das, and both of those drivers trying to get by McGuinness. Further back to Daniel Wojcik trying to find a way by McCusker. Great fighting everywhere.
Thompson, Parker Thompson, who runs 4th, that last time by, we have 8 laps in the book, he drove the fastest lap. So the driver who was running 4th on lap number 7 went the fastest out of any of the 24 cars that are on the race course.
Got to keep pushing. You can never stop. You got to keep trying to stay on the throttle because you never know what's going to happen on the racetrack. There's the fight again for Dickerson, trying to go around the outside, I believe. This time, I think Dickerson to the outside of McGuinness, and he gets the job done coming down the hill. Dickerson, I believe, into 11th. Indeed, through turn number 3, there he is. Dakota Dickerson finally by Robert McGuinness, but man, that was a 3-lap battle between those two young rookies. Dickerson now going to set off and see if he can't close up into the fight for 9th between Listoshkin and Luo.
Jordan Lloyd continues to run 2nd and continues to track down our race leader, Anthony Martin. The 21 trying to run down car number 8 as we have 9 laps. Check that, 8 laps in the book, and the lead is 0.69 seconds. Every lap, Jordan Lloyd just reeling in our race leader little by little.
Yeah, Dean, also within 11 minutes now as well, and you got to believe we're looking somewhere around the 4 to 5 lap range remaining left in this USF 2000 event. Anthony Martin looking to go back-to-back here, but he has a fellow Australian driver closing up in a huge way. Jordan Lloyd, veteran pilot. He ran in the USF 2000 series for a couple of races at the beginning of 2016, was not able to get a full budget to run the entire season. Elected to go back to Australia turns around and wins the Australian Formula 4 Championship. And with that, he got the scholarship to go wherever he wanted racing. He wanted to get back here to the Mazda Road to Indy. Teamed with Pabst Racing, and they have been an excellent squad. Those three drivers have gelled nicely. Now, I'm not quite sure how well they're gelling right now. Luo and Garth Ricard's getting together. Maybe there's a little bit of issue with the gel after the incident on the racetrack. But I was told that after the race, Yufeng actually went straight to Garth and said, "Hey, my fault. That was a mistake on my part. I apologize for taking you out. I know it hurts, but at least he was able to fess up and say, hey, you know what? It was my issue on the racetrack."
The leaders cross the start-finish line, head down into corner number 1, and they turned that last time nearly identical laps, the first and second place cars.
Yeah, 2:12.74. So in fact, Lloyd quicker by a thousandth of a second, and the gap still 0.69. So Lloyd, I think, kind of getting himself to the point where he knows what he's going to do here.
Leaders go under the Sargento Bridge. They'll be heading your way in turn 5 momentarily.
Being told that number 15 of Brendan Puderbach, there's an issue with him. They're going to call him to the pit. So Puderbach, who runs in the second spot rather in the national class, heading to pit lane, as is Mackay Stevens in the number 19. It's been a rough weekend for Mackay Stevens and the crew from RJB Motorsports as they bring the 19 into pit lane. And anytime you come to pit lane in one of these short 30-minute sprint races, your day is pretty much done. And I have not yet seen Mackay start to unbuckle the car, but they are. Looks like they may be trying to get the rear cowl off, so some kind of an issue for Mackay. Whether they send him back out just to get the laps here at Road America, that remains to be seen. But nonetheless, we won't see him anywhere in the top 20. Still, Martin leading the way in the 8. Jordan Lloyd in second. Victor Franzoni third. Parker Thompson runs in fourth in the number 2. And Isla Agron, the young lady in the number 33, having a fantastic run here. P5 for Isla. Garth Ricard's in 6th. Jordan Kane in 7th. Luke Gabin 8th. Nikita Listoshkin 9th, and Yufeng Luo rounding out the top 10. Dakota Dickerson trying to close up on Luo, but in fact, about a half a second off the pace. So Dickerson may have to end up with a 10th place finish here. Being told issue in turn number 3, potentially the 77 of Sam Chastain having an issue down there. Of course, our spotter's giving us the update. Wondering if we may go for full course yellow between 3 and 4, actually potentially stop for the 77 of Chastain. And will we go full course yellow? That would, of course, change everything here. 7 minutes and 45 seconds left. That car obviously doesn't sound like it's going to be damaged, but maybe just out of power. So a mechanical for Chastain in the 77, but not able to get himself into a very safe area, somewhere between 3 and 4. And I will not be surprised to see the full course yellow flying. At this point here, though, race control trying to see if they can't stick with it. We'll see if we get a look here on the screen, folks, as they work their way out of turn number 3 now, down the hill, under the Sargento Bridge. I'm not seeing anything at this point. So we're not going to be able to see that car based on the camera angles that we have. So very stealthy of Chastain to keep himself out of our view. Nonetheless, the race control monitoring the situation numerous times in a straightaway like that. If they'll let all the drivers work their way past, Dean, and so they can see where the car may be off the racetrack. It could be a couple car widths off the racetrack. As long as they know he's there, they may continue to go green because there's no real need to go full course yellow if indeed there's no reason for any kind of an issue. Sounds like they're going to see if they can't get Sam to get out of the car and hop behind the wall. That'll be that extra bit of safety that we can provide to him. So it looks like we're going to see if we can't stay green here. And I'll tell you, Anthony Martin be pretty happy about that. Back to a 1.3 second lead.
He would be happy about that. Of course, we mentioned earlier he was the winner this morning in race number 1 for the USF 2000. That happened at 8 o'clock this morning. Hope you were with us. It was a great wake-up call indeed as we kicked off our racing activity here. Day number 3 on the Kohler Grand Prix, and he's looking to do the double. He's looking to double up and win race number 2, and that would make it a great Saturday indeed for Anthony Martin.
Well, the big thing too, Dean, is the fact that he came into this event a significant amount of points behind his teammate Parker Thompson. If he's able to win this here, get both victories, I'm not sure if he has the fast lap of the race or not, but regardless, if he gets both wins, Thompson back at 4th, he's going to really eat into this lead. And I got to say, we're going to be down to, for sure, single digits. It's only 10 points right now. It may be 2 or 3 points the lead for Thompson if he ends up rolling out of here in 4th spot. Martin doing whatever he can to put the fight back to his teammate as we get ready to head to the next event here on the USF 2000 schedule. It'll be a battle on the streets of Toronto in about 3 weeks' time. 5 minutes remaining, 5:15 on the clock to be exact. Thompson again rolling down nicely into turn number 3. I actually think maybe the battle might be for second, Dean. It looks to be like Franzoni's turned things up a bit. Lloyd pushed early, got down to some pretty good lap times, but he's fallen off the pace a little bit. You could see that Franzoni quicker by about 0.2 of a second. He's less than a second behind now.
Yeah, that is a great battle shaping up indeed for second and third. Could Lloyd have pushed his car too hard, too early?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Yeah, I think you're right. Again, we talk about the fact of how you want to set your car up to come in early, to come in late. But again, on a track like this, it's such a long lap, and the temperatures are getting up there. As you said, the surface itself is not that easy on tires. It's gonna work them, especially if you're pushing hard like Jordan was. And I think that he honestly believed. You can see that he was closing so aggressively there that he might have just burned the tires up a little bit midway through the race. It's not like it's never happened before. Young drivers pushing hard with their race cars. Zach Veach told us the same thing. He was pushing as hard as he possibly could. Oh, trouble, folks, for the 21 to Jordan Lloyd off in turn 5. Into the runoff in turn number 5, Jordan Lloyd. We were just talking about the fact, Dean, that he might have burnt off his tires. That was definitely going to put him well back, whether he's able to get himself back onto the racetrack. Nonetheless, that's going to move Franzoni to second, we believe, and I believe Thompson to third, and I'm getting my spotters folks telling me that Jordan Lloyd is out of the car.
That is a changer. Oh,
wow.
My. In the final 4 minutes of the race.
He was looking at a solid podium finish, a couple of runner-up results, but not going to happen today for Jordan Lloyd, and another heartbreak for Pabst Racing as they were looking to go back to the podium again. This is going to move Franzoni up into the second position. Thompson will go to third. Isla Agron up to fourth, and Garth Ricard, so another Pabst Racing driver, up into the 5th position. So Martin, Franzoni, and Thompson, 1, 2, 3. Big for Parker Thompson. He's going to get a couple of points there. Fourth to third, definitely worth at least 2 or 3 points.
And what a change. I mean, we were talking about the fact that we were going to have maybe a 2 or 3 point advantage between first and second at the end of this race. And Lloyd, the second place runner, he falls out. He's dropping through the pack. Thompson moves up into the podium spot, third, and just like that, he's right back in the catbird seat.
The funny thing is that it's a tough one for him. He needed this race to keep himself in the championship hunt. Here's the difference, though, Dean. For Parker Thompson, fourth place would have been 19 points. First place, 30. He would have lost 11 points. He would have lost the point lead. It would have been Anthony Martin into the point lead. Moving up into the third spot, he now gets 22 points, the difference being only 9 points. I got to think, based on the qualifying on the pole, we'll see who ends up with the fast lap of the race. We may find ourselves with a tie in points at the top of USF 2000. That's what we like to see midway through the season. We want to see this championship go all the way down to the finale at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Final 2 minutes on the racetrack here for these drivers. I would believe we'll see the white flag very soon. Have not got the call yet that it's going to be this time by, but I expect to look out at Paul Blevin, our IndyCar starter. He does have the white flag in his hands. Martin with a 2.7 second lead. This kid is looking to score big here this weekend. Back-to-back jacks to put him right back into the fight. And he may indeed be tied with his teammate Parker Thompson for points when it all shakes down. White flag, we believe, going to fly this time by. Our flagman looking pretty set up to get that white flag out here. The fight further back, though, absolutely exciting. Agron, Ricards, Jordan Kane, Luke Gavin, all within 2 seconds. Indeed, white flag flying. Look at this fight for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. This is thrilling to watch here.
That is, too. That's the best battle on the racetrack as they cross the start-finish line and head on down to 1. This is going to be a good last lap behind our race leader, Anthony Martin. He has things well under control, but that battle, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, man, it's a doozy.
Go back to 8th even. Listoshkin's only 0.2 of a second behind Gavin. This is 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. 5 drivers all battling for the final positions in the top 5. Isla Agron trying to get her best finish of the year here in 4th. It will be a great one for Isla in that number 33 for John Comiskey Racing. That was the car that Anthony Martin drove last year to Rookie of the Year. And we're going to see how this all shakes out. Martin clean, though. 2.8 seconds the advantage for Anthony Martin, the Aussie, looking to go back-to-back. 2 wins this weekend here at Road America. He's only, probably 3 miles away from getting that done. Franzoni inherits second after the departure of Lloyd. Thompson inherits 3 points. Let's not even worry about third spot. 3 points extra for Parker Thompson to keep him right there in the hunt. He'll be on the podium again with his teammate, as they have been for the last number of races. Working our way through the final circuit here. Martin trying to bring it home. There is now Luke Gavin, Garth Rickards in the 22, right on the rear wing of Isla Agron. There's Martin working his way through. Now that indeed is Thompson coming through in third. That's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th for you on the big screen. Working their way around here. Down into the kettle bottoms. Final circuit around the racetrack here for USF 2000. Another Pro Mazda race still to come here today. The second Indy Lights race will take place tomorrow morning at 8:45 after the IndyCar morning warm-up. Just some fantastic racing for you here this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, though, he'll work his way onto the front straightaway once again. A dream weekend at Road America for the driver out of Perth, Australia. He'll call Calgary home, though. Double checker flag, the winner today in USF 2000. Back-to-back jacks for Anthony Martin. Victor Franzoni ends up taking second. Parker Thompson, a solid run to third.